Hi guys, welcome to the first part of this PC build. So in the first part, I'm gonna talk about some of my choice and why would I choose those components. And in the next part, so the part 2, I'm gonna show you how did I to build up this PC. This some of the process. And sorry, because I didn't record all the process, but yeah, if you still want to keep watching, you can watch in the part 1, or if you don't interest in part 1, you can just wait for a few more days and the part 2 will coming out. This video will have total around 3 or 4 parts, because after the first time I built up this PC, there are something happened which I would not expecting, so I have to exchange some new components. So for those new components, I would publish those videos a few days after. So thanks for watching, and let's start now. Hi guys, so I'm here. So yeah, in these 5 minutes, I'm gonna talk about why do I choose those hardwares to build up this PC. So the first thing to build up PC is the case. So we need to have a look at the case. So the case I chose is a mid-tower case. It supports up to a graphic card of 330mm and 280mm, which is great for me because for this type of lens, you can put a full-size graphic card into this desktop. And why did I choose mid towers? Because for the full tower, it's just too large for me to use it, and mid tower is suitable. And the one reason why I choose this case is it supports up CPU coolers up to 165mm. So for this kind of size, you can actually choose some world's best CPU coolers for your CPU to cooling down, to keep your CPU temperature down. And it also gets USB ports and RGB light switch if you need those stuff. It's all at the front panels. So it's a really good choice as a case, and also it's not really expensive. It's only around $90, so it's about average. The next components we're gonna look at is the CPU for your desktop. So the CPU I choose is AMD Ryzen 5 3600. So why did I choose these CPUs? Because when I build the system, my aim is not actually to playing some game like CSGO or stuff, because if you need CSGO, you don't actually need a 6-core CPU. You can just buy the Ryzen 5 3100 or 3300X. So they are all 4-core CPUs. It's enough for play some basic game like GTA 5 or CSGO. But for this PC, because we're gonna use some emulators, so it's kind of Android emulators on PC. So when you open emulators, it asks for more cores to run it smoothly. So for 6-core, it would be a better choice if you want to open multi-emulators. And it also got a lower TDP and really high CPs. And now you can see it's already now has a 10% discount. Actually, I think I budget a CPU for the original price, so you can just go to budget now, because now it's really cheap and this only ends in 28 hours. So the next thing we're gonna look at is a Kingston A2000 NVMe M2 SSD. So the reason I choose this SSD is it's cheap and it got a lot more space to storage things like many files, those emulators, you download the things inside, and we don't actually need like hard drives, like a big hard drive like 1 TB or 2 TB, because I'm often just put my videos into or external hard drives, so I actually don't need to buy some large hard drive to store file in PC. And this SSD got a read speed up to 2020 megabytes and write up to 2000 megabytes, which is moderately mid-range in the 2020s. But it's not really important if you are not doing some high loads like video editing stuffs. So for this kind of speed, play games and for normal using it's totally fine and really fast. There isn't a difference if you even buy a twice fast SSD in those normal conditions. For the difference, it will only appear in some specific conditions, situations like video editing or 3D, those stuffs. So next stuff we're gonna talk about is the motherboard. So the motherboard I picked is SMI B450M M80X motherboard. So this motherboard, when I pick it, it's really cheap. It's only around $139 as you can see here. But the problem is because I budget a wireless card for this motherboard because I want to use wireless connection rather than just put my PC near my routers. So the problem is when I plug the video card inside the PCIe 16 slots, it blocks the slots in front of it. So I can't plug the wireless card inside the PCIe 1 slot. So basically I think I have to change this motherboard to ATX motherboard, so a full-size motherboard. But you guys have to take notice, if you want to use wireless, don't buy this motherboard. The next thing we're gonna talk about is HyperFree 6GB RAM. So it's a dual channel RAM, it's got two of single 8GB RAMs, and those RAM is running at overclocked speed of 3200 MHz, so it's really fast. And for this kind of frequencies, it actually is moderately the best for the Ryzen 3rd gens. Ryzen 3rd gen can run more faster at these frequencies. And for 6GB RAM, you can actually use some big softwares and do some 4K editings, and you can open multi emulators like 8 emulator or 9 emulator at the same times. And it will be a future proof if you want to use this computer for a longer period. Next thing I'm gonna talk about is the monitor I picked. So the monitor I picked is Philips monitors. It got a 1080p resolutions, so it's pretty common in 2020. And it got a 60 Hz refresh rate. So basically means you can only play a game at maximum refresh rate and 60 Hz. The only good thing pushed me to buy this monitors is it got a pretty low or moderately lower response time, so it could be really pretty responsive, like 5 milliseconds, and a really cheaper price, around $228. It's one of the cheapest monitor available in the PB tags. But if you want some game monitors, like you want to play CSGO or Fortnite and 144 FPS, you need to buy 144 Hz display monitors rather than these ones. So as you can see, you can just search 144 Hz monitors. However, the problem with those gaming monitors is they are all expensive, even though just a little bit expensive, but I just don't want to pay this price because for me, I'm not playing too much games and just open the emulators, and emulator doesn't support 144 Hz. But if you want to play 144 Hz, you can buy all those monitors on the PB Tech or in other shops. The next thing we're going to talk about is Asus AX200 MUMINO dual-band wireless card for your PC. So this wireless card have to plug it onto the PCIe X1 slot. As you can see, it looks like something like this. And the reason I picked this wireless card is it supports up to Wi-Fi 6 standards, so the newest standard of Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi 6 can provide a faster and more stable experience when you're using Wi-Fi. But problem is, if you want to use the Wi-Fi 6 standard, you must have a router that is compatible with Wi-Fi 6. So if you don't have a router compatible with Wi-Fi 6, you can pick some cheaper wireless card that only supports Wi-Fi 4 or Wi-Fi 5. The power supply I picked is the Cooler Master MWE Brains V2. So for these coolers, it got a 550 watts maximum power supplies. So for the CPU and the motherboard and the graphics, which I will talk about in the next minutes, they don't actually need a higher watts. So for 550 watts, it's suitable, and if you don't do too much overclock those stuff. And it is a 80 plus brains PSU. This means it is got much more saving energies. So it's also a point why I purchased these power supplies. It also got 3 years warranties. The price is around $99, which is around the mid or average price for a power supply like this. But I think this one actually is the best suitable for me because it got suitable buds and all those stuff, and actually one of the most important reasons, it looks really cool. First, we're gonna talk about is the video cards. Video cards is really an important component in your computer. As you can see here, even the price is really high. Because video cards is mostly like graphics, those stuffs, you can't do anything without the video cards. And the dedicated video cards is especially expensive. So the video cards I picked is Gigabyte Radeon RX 5500 XT or 5500 XT, overclocked 8 GB GDDR6 graphic card. So for this CPU, it had been overclocked to 8045 MHz, and it got a Dolphin. Actually, for the Dolphin, it's really a small phone because in my PC, actually it can put inside the 3 phones graphic cards, but I didn't find it. So if you find any graphic card with 3 fans, it most likely is better than Dolphin graphic cards because it got a better airflow stuff and it can cool down the GPU faster. So the reason why would I buy this graphic cards, it is first it got 8 GB of memory size. Maybe this memory size isn't really important for the nowadays gaming, but it's a future proof because as future the games those RAM usage will increase, and this card can, if it got a larger memory size, then this card can contain all those things. And also this card is only a mid-range card. In mid-range card, I would not say this card is really higher CP, but I'm sure it could be one of the best choice you can buy for now. And this card is cost around $460, which is about okay for this kind of price and this kind of performance. You can expect to play most of games in 1080p and 60 FPS. And in some games like CSGO, you can expect around 200 or even more than 200 FPS. So, and another thing I want to talk about is this graphic card gets 3 DP ports, as you can see here, and 1 HDMI port. So you have to have you have to have those cables in your home so you can plug it in your monitors. It got a 8-pin connectors for the powers, so it's not really power hungry. I think this graphic card is around 130 watts for the powers. So thanks for watching the part 1. The part 2 will come in next week. So please subscribe to his channel so you can get alert when the part 2 comes out, and click the like button if you enjoy the videos. So see you in next time.